people, welcome to the Creator Effect. We are going to discuss about creator economy. I am Maledicto and this is my friend Shenzi.
Hello everyone, I welcome you all once again to the Creator Effect podcast. Come along as we discuss and understand the economy better.
This is our first discussion, and before we start, I'm going to tell you about Creator Effect. Basically, we are a community of geeks. Everyone here is obsessed with creator economy. We like to observe, learn, analyze, and draw conjectures on the future of this economy. We are keenly interested in how things are going to unfold. This community started with a bunch of nerds who were quite fascinated with the subject. Rather insane about it, I would say. They got inspired by brilliant minds who are largely active in this space. The likes of Lee Jin and Jared Dicker, the pioneers. And there was a time when Creative Effect used to work furtively, but as I said, we're obsessed. Our thirst for knowledge is unquenchable. And that's why we're looking for more exposure. We cherish creativity and therefore the name Creator Effect. Join us in our journey as we welcome you with open arms.
Right. Before we begin today's conversation, I shall quickly walk you through. In the part 1 of our conversation, we shall be talking about what the economy is and what is making it so popular among all the generations. Part 2, we shall be talking about why this economy should certainly make more space and more room for the middle class. Because if you want to move forward, you will have to take the entire chunk along with you. In the part 3 of our conversation, we shall talk about content consumer and content creator and our take on niche. And lastly, in part 4 of our conversation, we shall talk about how the platforms should really redefine themselves.
All right, let's start. Let's begin this conversation.
Right.
Now, yes, over to you.
Before we jump into the depths of the conversation, I was just having this thought which I wanted to share. I think before the creator economy set in, of course, creators were there and they were putting out content, but they were actually doing it for free. They were never rewarded for it in any way. So in some way or the other, you can label that as an unpaid internship. You know, the thing which kids and college goers do these days. But since the economy is coming in, gradually every creator is going to be paid for his or her work. So you can actually call that as a paid internship. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do like this analogy.
Yeah.
Well, of all the analogies that we've discussed so far amongst us, I personally like the one in which, I remember there was a similarity drawn between movies and creator economy.
Yeah, we were talking about it the other day, yeah.
Yeah, it was like the content we've been watching and are watching is like a trailer to this forthcoming movie. For now, it is available free of cost to anybody, but maybe in the future you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's creator economy for you, at least a scanty little idea of it.
Right.
Yes.
And, looking at the immense popularity the economy has gained, what do you think? Why is it so popular? Why is it getting so popular among the upcoming generations? And, why?
Well, I see there's, it has been lurking around the corner for quite some time now.
Right.
And it gained popularity recently, especially during the pandemic.
I totally agree with this point, because the Gen Z or the generation right now, we have been burned by two most globally traumatic events. One was, of course, the Great Recession of 1920, where we had the pandemic, where we had the recession, and we also had the World War I going on. And mind you, that was the most pathetic recession which the world ever witnessed. And of course, the next traumatic event was the COVID pandemic, which is still going on. Now, both of them were equally disastrous. The generation present at that time, it surely couldn't handle it well because 1920 came as a loss and went as a loss. But if you compare it with this generation of the one which is facing the pandemic too came as a loss, but the generation made it into a win so big that we have a big phenomenon in front of us right now. So like as a result, this generation is rejecting traditional roots and institutional authority because they've seen the older generation struggle. So I think the way both the generations have handled both the pandemics and the recession, it has a hell and heaven difference. So
Yeah, well, right. Although this pandemic, caused a lot of people to come out of their shell, out of their comfort zone, and try something which doesn't guarantee them success.
yeah,
But I think they handled it pretty well. And a lot of people turning to online source of income to support their finances. To be honest, a lot of people lost their jobs, and probably that's why this is coming in the eyes of general public, and that's what led to this momentous escalation of creator economy. I mean, it has of course got a lot of potential, immense scope.
yeah,
Earlier it was just talked about by like venture capitalists, journalists, influencer reporters, tech twitters, and entrepreneurs in this field. But it will be talked about by a lot of people, even more now by creators and consumers.
right.
Yeah. So,
Agreed. Yeah.
yeah,
Also,
the scope and the potential that I'm talking about is immense. It is, I mean, as I said, it was around the corner. It started a long time ago, but now I can say that it's finally coming on in vogue.
And it's here, and it's totally here to stay. And also, I believe another reason why it's gaining so much of acceptance plus popularity is because not too long ago people wanted to escape from the 9 to 5 jobs and enter into something which gave them utmost solitude. Now the fact that they could make their passion into an earning source, it never crossed their mind, and rightfully so, because in a world where only a corporate job is looked up to, you cannot really expect the same world to give you the same reaction when it comes to your passion. Now, I have said this before too, change is inevitable, and the way the world functions had to undergo a massive change and welcome the new chapter of the creator economy. Now, with millions of creators breathing a sigh of relief, the creator economy is bound to gain popularity like no other. So, if you allow your creativity to guide you, your passion to guide you, and if you're creative enough, no one can stop the economy from coming into the picture.
Right, well put. And I suppose the face of this economy, although I'm ready to believe with total convincingly that it contains opportunities for a lot of people. It contains multitude. But still, I would say the face of this economy is going to be the younger generation.
Agreed. And for three main reasons, of course, we have to agree on this. It's their hunger for freedom, it's their hunger for independence, and it's their hunger for autonomy. These Gen Zs, they want to be the boss of their own work. Hence, they're not going to settle for anything less.
Right. These key character traits in them, which are absolutely dominant. This rebel and non-conformity. That is what is driving them, I suppose. And well, if they desire autonomy and they're ready to work for it, what's wrong in that? I don't see anything inherently wrong in that.
Same, yeah.
However, I think it is not going to be as easy as we've put it in words.
Why do you think so?
Don't you think as a teenager it is going to be hard to maintain both things? Your conventional education that you're having, and also because let's be honest, to become a creator you also have to know the technicalities.
Agree.
Yeah, so you're pursuing something which is already difficult, and you have to maintain something which is difficult too.
Right. And I think, in my opinion, both of them can exist, but because we are going against an entire school of thought, an entire mindset, this might be difficult, no doubt. But if you approach it in a way which is very concrete and justified, I do not feel the road is going to be difficult forever.
Right.
For
And
example, yeah.
yeah, I see a lot of people. Don't you think, in the coming time, if you don't make it common amongst youngsters, teenagers,
Yeah.
this creator education thing. I've been hearing about this a lot, and if you don't make this common between them, we may see a lot of people dropping out of this school only to follow their dreams, their passion.
Yeah. So this is to solve this issue, or I would say the growing issue of students dropping out. There are countries like China and Korea who have literally introduced an entire curriculum of which is called the creator education, where they educate children on how to create content, how to build an audience, how to gain from your audience, everything. So this was the
exactly.
approach I was talking about, which is so
I think this is what I heard about.
Yeah. See, like this was the approach I was talking about a minute ago. This is so concrete that nobody can go against it, because now this is an entire curriculum. So I think children have a much more better scope, and also if you ask children what they want to become when they grow up, 70% are going to answer they want to become a they want to become a YouTube creator. So I think that speaks volume, and the fact that we have a new curriculum that is a ray of hope.
Right. But what about the parents? It certainly sounds very good. If we get this creator education thing into the curriculum, it is going to be great. Just imagine having a degree in creator education. It would be wonderful. But until then, what are the younger generation supposed to do? Do they have to follow both the things, maintain both the things together, or they have to make a distinction? So, because it is, let's be honest, we did mention that it's going to be problematic. It looks problematic also.
Yeah.
And parents, they always want their wards to do something which is related to education or something, big and grand.
I think that rightly mentioned, that's the type of mindset which we currently have, but there's no harm in changing it, right? For example, I've been learning a new dance form these days. So if I go up to my parents and tell them that I want to earn from it and I want to make my own place in this economy, of course I'm not expecting a very pleasant reaction. So and there's nothing wrong about it, because as a parent their only concern would be that I'm financially independent and I'm standing on my own 2 feet. So if I'm able to solve this concern, there's I do not think this generation will face any trouble. This is why a curriculum is important, a zeal for creating an impact is important. um, Passion is important. So as long as you can convince your parents that you can make something out of it, there's no harm.
Yeah, I like it how you put it so diplomatically that you're not going to have a very good reaction from your parents when you tell them about your dancing passion. Yeah. Where I would say, if I had told my parents that I want to do something, I want to follow my passion, and I want to drop out of school or something, I think they might as well, tell me to get out of the room or shut my mouth.
Agreed. And I think this shouldn't come to us as a surprise. I do not know why we are expecting so much from our parents, and why are we not letting our actions speak. So I think a curriculum is a great step in this direction. Yeah.
Yes, curriculum is really required, but if we look from their eyes, from their point of view, I think I do understand that they feel a bit troubled, vexed at this thought that the awards are going to do something which is not conventional, which doesn't, guarantee success.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of competition. There will be a lot of competition in this particular field, and it doesn't guarantee sustainability.
Absolutely agreed.
Yeah. If you see the middle class is a really important part of a society. And if you're talking about making money through internet, so you have to include majority. And middle class represents majority.
Absolutely. I think finally we're addressing the elephant in the room. The economy, it's very sad that we do not have enough space for the middle class, and we should be having, because a middle class is so critical for promoting social trust. I could easily go ahead and watch big shot creators like David Dobrik, but they can only I can only enjoy for a few minutes. But if I want to be truly influenced, if I want to truly learn, I would want to see someone who is just like me. So, and also because of this, the wealth is only concentrated in these in these 1% of creators. So, creating enough space, giving them proper support, authentic support, back-end support, all of it is going to be a revolutionary change, because you really want to push the economy forward, don't we? So it's high time we take the middle class along with us.
Yeah.
How else will you influence the masses?
Right. And it reminds me something, just this idea the masses are going to connect to it, because we spend a lot of time on internet, and everybody is getting influenced to become a creator. That reminds me of a statement made by Li Jin.
Yeah.
She said that a lot of people are going to be creators. A lot of them eventually will come online, and it doesn't matter what your profession is. If you're a doctor, you're an engineer or an architect, everyone is going to have an online profile in the future of their work.
Yeah.
So that's because of the online reach that is available.
And we wouldn't want and we are living online right now.
Reach.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And so you have to have some creatorial attributes in your work.
Yeah.
And well, that brings me to this point. A lot of talks have been going on about this creator and consumer thing.
Yeah.
As we've discussed, a lot of people are turning to this, and eventually a lot of people will become creator. So who is going to be the consumer? Who will consume the content? If everybody is a creator, who's the consumer?
Well, this particular question of yours makes me think of another statement. It went like, if everybody is an influencer, then who are they influencing? Right. So I think for this particular talk which has been going on, I think many of us are still trying and struggling to make a shift from a passive content consumer to an active content creator. Now, it's not that we don't create content already. We already do. Now, that's no longer a point of debate. But it's just that we haven't yet fully embraced our roles as creator in the modern content ecosystem. Now, I'm not exaggerating, but with so much content being produced every single second of the day, getting people to actually consume it, because that's what we want. We want people to consume our content, to interact with it, and then we move by it. All of it is going to be incredibly difficult. But here's the point. Every content creator who is present on the internet right now, they make sure, take it from me, they absolutely make sure to view their co-creators' content. And you would ask me why. I think it's just one answer to it, and we both know it, and we all know it. It's competition. Now you need to be
to be in tandem with whatever is going around you.
Yeah, they need to be very aware of what their co-creators are doing, what are they up to, what are the recent trends they are following, or how is the audience interacting with them, etc. And the point which we should be giving the maximum attention to is this sense of competition is supposed to only unleash their creative side and not bring out any unethical behavior. So as long as you take the competition head on and in a very healthy way, it's going to be very beneficial. I'll also tell you why. Every creator wants to collaborate, right? This can help them increase their reach. So if they want to collaborate, they need to know what their could be partner is up to. So I think this entire phenomenon, this entire concept of viewing each other's content, getting into an undeclared competition, every creator is now wearing two hats. One of the creator, of course, and other of a viewer. So I do not think we'll ever reach a position where we run out of viewers, Nature or society or any cycle or any phenomenon, it always has a way of balancing itself out. So I think this is what the solution is, and it has always existed.
And I remember the old times. I see this as so funny and interesting how things turn around quickly. I can remember the old times. Just go like 5 or 10 years back.
Yeah.
When people just started making online content, like let's say on YouTube or some parallel platforms. I remember they started with a particular thing, a particular field, and they would stick to it. They wouldn't, go out of that comfort zone of theirs, and they would make one particular kind of content all the time. And but when this algorithm thing came in, which was purely based on randomness, everything changed. On one hand, it served heterogeneity and it promoted small creators.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it it inspired a lot of people. I'm using the term inspired because I think it is quite positive. A lot of people tried new things just to see them feature in the trending section.
Yeah.
They want to have more viewers, and there's nothing wrong in that. And they started making this relatable content.
Yeah.
But as the creator economy is coming in effect, I would say they will go back into their shells. Not entirely though, like they used to, but they will go, and they will stick to their niche again. Because that is what is going to help you build a great fandom. And there's a popular term called subculture. So that is going to help you attain that. And it appears like everything is going in cycle, from niche to algorithm, to niche back again. And I wouldn't be surprised if it changes again in a few years.
Absolutely. This entire system, this entire phenomenon is always so fluctuating that you cannot really predict what's going to happen. Either we can go back to square one or we can make a step ahead, So, yeah, absolutely agreed.
Right. And I think it is the high time that platforms think about their roles. How are they going to act in this new upcoming economy of online business industry?
Absolutely, because platforms is the only bridge between these two main parties, the creator and the viewer. So they really need to go beyond. The platform should provide or create utility more than just content,
Yeah, and as we talked about autonomy, a lot of creators want autonomy, and there have been discussions about decentralized autonomous organization. So I would say a lot of creators would want to become independent, to be on their own, and they wouldn't, want an intermediary like platforms. So just to be on their own and keeping their fans to themselves, right? And, mutually benefiting each other rather than giving a fair share of their income to these platforms.
Yeah.
So platforms need to make sure that they do something substantial, they provide something substantial to allure creators towards them.
Because, viewers are only loyal to creators and not to platforms. So wherever creators go, fans are going to follow. So, it's due season that platforms redefine their meaning and their role.
Right. And I want to ask all our listeners, what do they think that platforms should do in order to bring creators and consumers, closer than ever?
Yeah, because somewhere along the line we are diluting the meaning of social. So what do our audience think the platform should be doing to bring both the parties closer? So with that, this brings us to the end of our conversation today. Now, looking at all the topics and the conversation we had, it goes without saying that all the generation is shouldering the change and this massive popularity which the economy is gaining. Now, a renewed appreciation for one's time, focus, and even family, it makes it very likely that increasing number of people will start to take more decisions, more value-based decision, I would say, rather than following a status quo. Now, it was thrilling to have this conversation with you, covering all topics.
Lovely conversation I had.
Yeah, and a lot of topics which were brushed under the carpet, and a lot more to cover.
Right. We shall talk about a lot of things in the coming future. It was very nice having this conversation with you.
Thank you.
I'll say our listeners that thank you for joining us, and we will see you next one.